You remember starting your claim in March, but the VA record shows May. In between, you called someone, submitted something online, and received, or cannot find, a confirmation. So which date actually matters? That question is at the center of today's episode. There is a difference between thinking about filing, submitting an intent to file, and submitting a completed claim. Those moments may feel like one continuous beginning, but they are not automatically the same event.
Welcome to the Veteran Benefits Reset Podcast, where we help veterans and their families better understand the VA disability benefits process, one step at a time. I'm your host, Cameron Burrell, a U.S. Army veteran and founder of VetBiz Media. Today, we are going to make the intent to file timeline easier to understand. We will cover what an intent to file may do, what it does not do, how the general one-year concept fits into the process, and how to build a record you can actually follow later. This is independent educational information. It is not legal or medical advice, and it does not replace guidance from official VA resources or a VA-accredited veteran service organization, claims agent, or attorney. Here is the main idea I want you to keep with you. An intent to file may protect a potential starting point, but only when you treat it as a documented reservation, not as a finished claim. That means the date matters, the confirmation matters, and the application that follows matters. Facts over frustration. We are not going to guess at a date today. We are going to separate the events, identify what can be verified, and focus on the next responsible step. Start with a simple timeline. A veteran might say, I began thinking about filing in March. I talked with a family member in April. I called someone in May. I submitted something in June. Then I filed a claim the following February. In everyday conversation, that sounds like one story. For record keeping, it contains several separate events. Thinking about a claim is not a VA submission. Talking with a family member, a friend, or a representative is not automatically an intent to file. And submitting an intent to file is not the same as submitting the completed application.
But what if you called VA? A call may be an important part of your history, but do not assume that the call created an intent to file. Find out what was actually submitted and what VA recorded. What if you started an online form but never completed it? Again, do not fill in the blank with memory. Look for an acknowledgement, receipt, confirmation number, or correspondence. The safest question is not, what date do I wish counted? It is, what event can I document, and what does the official record show?
In general terms, an intent to file tells the Department of Veterans Affairs that you intend to submit a claim or application for a benefit. It may allow a veteran to notify VA that the process is beginning before every form, record, and supporting detail has been assembled. Depending on the benefit and the circumstances, an intent to file may relate to disability compensation, pension, or dependency and indemnity compensation. The benefit involved matters. The submission method matters. The current instructions matter. An intent to file may establish a documented date that can be considered in an effective date analysis when the applicable requirements are met. That is different from establishing entitlement. It does not by itself prove that a condition is related to service. It does not establish a diagnosis, a disability rating, or an award of compensation. It is one step in a larger process. Think of it as telling VA, I intend to apply, while the complete application tells VA, here is the benefit I am applying for, and the information that moves this application forward. This is where people often hear the phrase, 1 year. Under a general rule commonly associated with an intent to file, the completed application generally needs to be submitted within 1 year for the intent date to potentially be used in the effective date analysis. The word generally is doing important work. The benefit involved, the type of filing, later submissions, prior decisions, and the facts of the situation can affect how the rules apply. Do not use a podcast sentence as a deadline calculator. Use it as a reason to check the current VA instructions for your benefit and your circumstances. And even if an application is submitted within the applicable period, that does not guarantee approval, a particular rating, a particular effective date, or a specific payment amount. An effective date is determined under the law and the facts applied to the decision. Different rules may apply to an original claim, an increase, a supplemental claim, an appeal, or another type of filing. So the responsible takeaway is not, I heard 1 year, so every situation works the same way. The responsible takeaway is, I need to confirm what applies to me and preserve the records that explain my timeline. Now picture the confirmation trail. You do not need a complicated case management system. Start with one folder, digital, paper, or both. At the top of one page, write the date you believe you took action. Then describe what that date actually represents: thinking, conversation, submission, or confirmation. Next, record the benefit involved, the method used to submit, and any receipt, acknowledgement, confirmation number, or correspondence. That is the part people often skip. They remember the action, but lose the proof. For example, a fictional timeline might say, March 12th, intent to file submitted through an available VA channel. March 13th, electronic acknowledgement saved as a PDF. March 14th, confirmation number copied into the timeline. August 4th, conversation with an accredited Veteran Service Organization representative. September 18th, completed application submitted. Those are not interchangeable dates. The timeline tells you what happened, what document supports it, and what question remains. If you mailed something, keep a copy of what you sent and the mailing information when relevant. If you submitted electronically, save the receipt or acknowledgement. If you are unsure whether VA received something, mark it as unverified instead of silently treating it as confirmed. A simple 5-column log can help. Date, action, document, confirmation, and next question. The last column is especially useful. It keeps your record from becoming a pile of old paperwork. For June 10th, the next question might be, what application follows this intent to file, and what time period applies under the current rules? For a missing receipt, the next question might be, how can I verify whether VA received this submission? One date, one record, one next action. Organization is not about making a claim look impressive. It is about making your own history easier to explain when months have passed. Let us challenge a few assumptions. An intent to file does not guarantee compensation. It does not guarantee approval, a rating, or a particular effective date. It does not automatically prove service connection. It does not preserve every possible date forever. It does not replace the completed application, supporting evidence, responses to VA requests, examinations, or careful review of decision letters. It may help preserve a potential starting point when the applicable requirements are met. That is valuable, but it is not the same as finishing the process. Let us return to Jordan, our fictional veteran. On March 12th, Jordan submits an intent to file and saves the acknowledgement. Jordan does not assume that the acknowledgement proves the claim will be granted. Instead, Jordan writes down 3 questions. What benefit does this submission relate to? What application must follow it? What current time period should be tracked? Jordan then gathers a DD-214, relevant service records, medical records, and a written description of how the issue has affected daily life. Those documents may be relevant, but they do not guarantee an outcome. They help Jordan understand the facts and communicate clearly. On August 4th, Jordan speaks with an accredited VSO representative. The representative asks whether the intent to file is associated with the benefit Jordan now plans to pursue. Jordan checks the confirmation instead of relying on memory. The representative also explains that the intent to file is not the completed application and that the general 1-year concept must be confirmed under the current rules. Jordan leaves with a clearer timeline and better questions, not a promise about the result. That distinction matters. Responsible assistance improves understanding. It does not pretend to predict a decision. Maybe your situation looks different. Maybe you submitted something online and did not save the confirmation. Maybe you mailed a form and are unsure whether it arrived. Maybe the intent to file involved one benefit and you are now considering another. Maybe a prior decision or a different type of review affects the timeline. These circumstances are not reasons to panic, and they are not reasons to assume everything is protected. They are reasons to verify.
When confirmation is missing, take the issue in order. First, review your current VA account and official correspondence for an acknowledgement or receipt. Second, write down the date, channel, and benefit you believe were involved. Third, contact VA through a current official method if you need to ask whether the submission was received. Fourth, bring the unresolved question and the documents you do have to a VA-accredited VSO, claims agent, or attorney when appropriate. Do not invent a confirmation number. Do not quietly convert a remembered date into a verified date. Label the uncertainty, then work on resolving it.
Before the next episode, take one practical action. Create or update your VA claim timeline. Use one page. Write down the earliest date you remember taking action and label it honestly. Then attach the document that supports that date, if you have one. Add the date of any completed application separately. Finally, mark one question you still need to verify. You are not trying to solve every issue in one sitting. You are building a reliable starting point. Education before action. Organize, verify, and then take the next responsible step.
Let us bring it together. Thinking about a claim is not submitting an intent to file. An intent to file is not submitting a complete claim. A complete claim is not the same as proving entitlement. An intent to file may help preserve a potential starting point when the applicable requirements are met and the proper application is submitted within the required period, but it does not guarantee benefits, replace evidence, eliminate deadlines, or make every claim follow the same timeline. Confirm what was submitted. Save the receipt. Track the dates. Review current official instructions. Ask for accredited help when your circumstances call for it.
Thanks for listening to the Veteran Benefits Reset podcast. I hope today's episode gave you a clearer way to think about an intent to file and one practical action you can take toward getting organized. Remember, this podcast is an independent educational resource. It is not legal or medical advice, and it does not replace guidance from official VA resources or an accredited professional. Every veteran's service, evidence, and circumstances are different, so verify current information before acting. If you found today's episode helpful, follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another veteran, family member, or caregiver who could benefit. Download the free 7-step Veteran Benefits Reset Guide at vetbizmedia.com/veteran7. It can help you organize military, medical, employment, and VA records before your next conversation or decision. Your service did not expire. Your story is still worth reviewing. Take the next responsible step.